No one said it would be easy.
College football, it's a love-hate relationship.
I feel very fortunate to come away with a win. You know, it was tough.
Sometimes you love to hate it, and sometimes you hate to love it.
But the tough times make the good times that much sweeter.
Now we got adversity, and let's see how we respond, because it struck, and let's see how we respond.
Those guys have been through an awful lot. They've handled adversity, they've handled big wins, they've handled tough losses.
You could call it a week of things to learn from.
When expectations are high, that's when you know you're cheering on a good program.
Everyone's pissed off, upset.
Football season was always meant to be a marathon.
Never a sprint.
This group found a way, though maybe not to expectations. It sure feels a lot better than talking about what got away from us.
With Big 12 play looming, we are just getting started.
If it were a bunch of new guys, you'd be concerned about it. We got a bunch of veteran guys in there.
Get ready, K-Nation starts now.
K-Nation, sponsored by 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
More than just football tonight on K-Nation. We've got an exclusive interview with KU soccer coach, and he's going on year 25 with the Jayhawks.
And our in-studio guest this week is Mitch Fortner from K-Man Radio. We'll talk about where the Wildcats need to clean things up to get back on track.
And it felt like the first taste of adversity for both football programs. An ugly win in Reno, a devastating loss in Columbia. We're going to break down what we saw in week 3 from the Jayhawks and the Wildcats.
And as always, welcome to K-Nation. I'm Lainey Gerber.
And I'm Glenn Kinley. It had to happen at some point, right? College football, unfortunately, not all sunshine and rainbows. It wasn't the prettiest week of football, but the Jayhawks did get a win.
Definitely. It shows the growth of this program when fans at KU are starting to complain about how the team wins.
Yeah,
you know?
If you can be picky about how you win, that means you must be winning a lot.
Exactly. They're complaining about a 31-24 victory over Nevada. It was closer than expected since the Jayhawks were 21-point favorites. They could never really pull away in this game. They never led by more than 7 points, and it was a tie game at halftime. The Jayhawks fumbled twice, lost one of them, forced 5 fumbles, but don't recover any.
Just bad luck.
Yeah, and no interceptions. Regardless, KU starts the season 3-0 in back-to-back years for the first time since 1991 and 92.
That'll work.
Here's Coach Leipold with a truth bomb on that fact after the win.
This program hasn't won enough football games in the last decade plus. We better be darn proud of any win we get. And then we'll go back to work and clean it up, just like we would if we won. So they didn't panic. They stuck together. They were very calm and mature about it. At the end, found a way to get a big stop and come away here with the win. And road wins aren't easy.
Road wins are not easy. Sometimes the stats tell the story, sometimes they don't. Categorized yesterday as they don't. The box score looked really good, actually. Jalen Daniels goes for over 4,000 passing yards in his career, not yesterday, Lainey.
In one day.
That would be really good. He almost did it against Arkansas last year. 21 for 27, 298 passing yards for Daniels. Devin Neal had 3 touchdowns, 89 rushing yards. Daniel Highshaw had a touchdown too, 48 yards total. It was just those little things, the penalties, all that stuff. They got to clean up for week 3, 4.
Devin was, again, so reliable, so steady. You know, I thought all 3 backs played well, and they have certain packages that were built for them. And, you know, I thought Dylan and Daniel had their moments as well as we played pretty decent. But it was just those other self-inflicted things that we got to be better at.
And Damon Greaves has perfection on this punt. The Hawks are up 7 here with 2 minutes to play. Punt downed right there at the 1-yard line. KU holds the offense after that. Big punt, big play.
Yeah, you got to give some love to the punters.
Definitely, especially when it's like that.
Look at them go. Lainey, our producer said we have to talk about K-State.
Okay. We can do it. We can rip the Band-Aid off. Like you said, you hate to love college football, right?
It's not always fun, but it was a close game, and it was a really good game, really. Let's dig into it. It takes an SEC record 61-yard field goal as time expires to leave the Cats feeling shocked. You got to give it to the kicker. 61 yards, he bangs that one in. And when opposing fan bases are storming the field after beating you, that probably means the program's in a pretty good spot. I was there in Columbia for the game. It was hard fought for 40 minutes. K-State punted a few too many times. The defense gave up the long ball a few too many times. You can't really pinpoint the loss to one area, but we found out K-State certainly has some needs to improve, and Kleiman knows his group could have played at a higher level, and that's just one reason why this one hurts.
When you have adversity, you rise up, and that's what I'm looking forward to these guys doing. This one hurts without question. You get beat on a last-second field goal in a game that you think you have an opportunity to win, and the gun goes off and they get the big kick. Yeah, that really hurts, because whether or not we're going to go in and score or get the thing to overtime, it stings. But we've got to rise above it.
We've all been making this comparison. It feels a lot like the loss to Tulane last year, Early in the season, a good team, but a game that K-State and the fans thought they should win. Right. But I think K-State fans would be happy if this year ended up just like last year.
Yeah, it looks like another Big 12 title.
Yeah, and like Coach said, it stings now, but quarterback Will Howard says now they have a challenge.
Last year, you look at every game after we lost, and we came back from it stronger and learned from it. That's what we got to do this week. We just got to, let it motivate us and not bring us down at all. And I know we're going to be fine.
Any loss is always going to hurt, but I'm not glad that we lost, but I'm glad that this was an early loss so we can bounce back and get that feeling and feel that adversity for us and just propel us for this home game against UCF.
All right, if you're looking for one piece of good news from the win, well, it was a really solid bounce-back game for Ben Sinnott. He didn't do really much of anything in last week's game. He had 5 catches, 78 yards, and 2 big-time touchdowns for the Cats.
Definitely.
And a cool celebration there.
Yeah.
All right, hey, let's talk about soccer, Lainey.
I am so down. We have so many fun programs. By so many, I mean 2. But multiple fun programs in this area. Big 12 play is already underway. K-State gets to host Cincinnati, and that's the first official game against one of the new Big 12 teams.
All right.
Willie the Wildcat was there wearing lederhosen, fashionable.
What's going on?
As they say, Aaliyah El-Nagar with a world-class goal to tie the game with 10 minutes remaining. Little news, if you didn't know, she is dating Batcat Dylan Phillips, who's the all-time home run leader at K-State.
Wow, that's the info you only get here on K-News.
Definitely, a power couple for sure. This game ends in a 1-1 draw with Cincinnati.
Defensively, we did a really good job. In fact, our goal scorer was a defender that came up and put it away. So we do a lot of things to keep us in the games. We give us confidence. I thought they did a good job.
Cats start the season 2-4-3. First Big 12 road matchup is with OU on Thursday.
All right, Kansas soccer, Big 12 match against Oklahoma, who's just about to leave the conference. Down 2-0 at half, but the Hawks come flying back. An impressive draw that they pick up. Olivia Page with the equalizer in the 84th minute. And don't forget, like we said, we've got that interview with head coach Mark Francis coming up later in the show.
I'm looking forward to it. In basketball news now, we got to just go down the row for sports.
We got a lot to hit this week.
Yeah, Jerome Tang's roster is finally complete.
Yeah, the Wildcats filled their final scholarship spot with the commitment of Will McNair. He's a transfer from Mississippi State. He played just 1 year with the Bulldogs, though. Before that, it was 3 with New Mexico State. A 6'11" forward with over 100 games of college basketball experience. Jerome Tang loves his experienced players.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Jayhawk land. KU's trip to Hawaii will still take place, but the location will change. This comes after the devastating Maui wildfires, and the tournament's usual court is being used as a critical hub for wildfire recovery efforts. The games will instead be played in Honolulu. That's on the campus of the University of Hawaii, and all tickets purchased will still be honored. Kansas basketball guard Arterio Morris has been suspended by the team. KU Athletics confirmed this with us Friday evening. That came a day after his ongoing assault case involving Morris was moved from a Class A misdemeanor to Class C, and that case was dismissed. The Kansas City Star is reporting that this suspension is a result of a rape allegation at McCarthy Hall on KU's campus, but the athletic department, we want to make this note, they did not confirm that or any other reason for the suspension. Morris transferred to KU after his true freshman season at Texas. That was in April.
Still ahead on K-Nation, we've got a busy week of volleyball and soccer to break down still. Highlights and post-match interviews come your way. But first, Jayhawk rowing is on a mission. I got on the water with the team to find out how they're preparing for the 2023 fall season. We'll be right back.
Searching for a career in advanced manufacturing or industrial automation? Manhattan Area Technical College's new Industrial Engineering Technology applies science and engineering through theory and hands-on application of skills. Learn more at manhattantech.edu.
Finding comfort in the familiar can be as easy as breakfast with the family at your favorite restaurant. At Lewis Toyota of Topeka, building lifelong memories is important. Helping drive you to your dreams? That's even bigger. Lewis Toyota is your local dealer now and for years to come.
Jungle House has moved, and we would love to show you around our new digs. Bring a new friend to school with you that will add life to your dorm room or apartment. We have plans for all. Find us at our new location, 6 East 7th Street, Lawrence, Kansas.
Hi, this is voice of the Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson. If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides direct connection to free, confidential, and compassionate support. When you call, text, or chat 988, you will be quickly connected to trained crisis counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. For 24/7 non-judgmental support, just call, text, or chat 988.
At Caw Valley Bank, we're here to greet you with a smile. While the trend may be going less personal and virtual tellers, we have options. Banking online, ATM, mobile app, or in person. We have the same friendly service you've been able to count on for over 150 years. Caw Valley Bank. Trust the strength of the Caw.
Doughboys Pizzeria, a family restaurant in North Topeka, serving fresh pizza with our signature sauce, award-winning wings, awesome appetizers, and desserts, with outdoor dining and entertainment. Call or order online at doughboys.pizza.
Manhattan Area Technical College will help you build a foundation for your college career, like transferable credits offered in your high school, earning your high school diploma through GED completion on our campus. Break through to a new career. Manhattan Tech, providing higher education.
All right, KU rowing getting its final prep in before the fall season begins. It's right around the corner.
Yeah.
They got athletes from all over the country, in fact, all over the world, Lynn.
Yeah, and they actually have all different rowing backgrounds. Here's how KU rowing is bringing them all together.
High up into the body, tapping down to release from the work.
There's a lot of growth wherever you look, whether they've come in with experience or whether they've taken their first strokes, as a freshman here as a Jayhawk.
KU rowing isn't just about finding the best rowers to join the team, it's making the best rowers for the team.
Honestly, I never even heard of rowing. What really helps make somebody successful is kind of who they are and their character and work ethic.
For a lot of these women, it's a chance to extend their athletic careers beyond high school.
I was recruited to row, but I was on a scholarship to play volleyball somewhere else. And unfortunately, I had some medical issues going on, and I decided to stop volleyball. Was a student for a few years and realized that I missed athletics, and I reached out to KU Rowing, and they took another chance on me.
But learning a new sport, a Division I sport in college, is daunting.
It was definitely really hard to start out with, especially something about me is that I don't really do things that I'm not good at. So at the start, it was really mentally challenging for me to just keep pushing and learning.
Especially a sport that requires these women to eat every hour during training.
It's the most physically demanding and mentally demanding.
Sometimes it's just to remind them, okay, you've been an athlete for a really, really long time. And we're just teaching you a new way to be athletic, a new movement pattern.
Good thing is KU's boathouse is less than 10 minutes from campus, right on the Kansas River.
You have nature around you, it's very calm, you have your teammates there encouraging you.
And they all fall in love with the sport despite
all the blisters you get on your hands.
Laney, a sport where you have to eat every hour. I've been doing that for years. I didn't know that I could sign up for a team and do it.
There you go. You could burn all the calories from eating every hour.
I'll call it part of my training, too.
Yeah. Well, we have another sport to check off the list now this week. We got football, talked about basketball, soccer, rowing. We're on to volleyball now.
All right, let's do it. Both these schools starting off the season pretty hot, and both teams hosting this weekend. It was a busy weekend in Lawrence and Manhattan. We'll start with the Cats, the first K-State Invitational in Morgan Family Arena. First match against Long Island was a 3-0 sweep for the Cats. Then yesterday against Rice, it was a 3-0 sweep against the Cats. Outside hitter Anea Clinton and libero Mackenzie Morris, well, they were both named to the all-tournament team. The big takeaway, well, this match happened right in the middle of the K-State football game, but that crowd was still pretty full.
It's special. I mean, we want this place to be a home court advantage, and I think people are excited about the possibility of this team, and certainly the arena is beautiful and provide a lot of excitement potentially. But yeah, it means a lot that we have people supporting us.
Pretty cool stuff. Support the Cats out there. They're 6-3 now. Big 12 play starts on Thursday. That's also at home against TCU. Coach said he's hopeful about the team in conference play. They've got some really good players, Lane, so they can make some noise.
Oh, definitely. They're always exciting. KU Volleyball is hosting the Jayhawk Classic this weekend and just dominating all weekend. Bellarmine, sweep. New Hampshire, sweep. Texas State, sweep. KU did not drop a set all weekend.
Wow.
Topeka native Cameron Turner with 35 assists just on Saturday.
Oh my gosh.
The Jayhawks hit a 360 clip compared to the Bobcats' .083. 9-0 this weekend as the Jayhawks move to 9-1 on the season, and KU starts Big 12 play at Texas Tech on Friday.
Well, I think Bill Self may have said it. He was on a volleyball broadcast. Cameron Turner might be the only person at Kansas who's a better passer than DeJuan Harris Jr.
Wow.
She's really good.
They should compete about it. I believe it.
Maybe they should. We'll get Cameron on the basketball court and DeJuan on the volleyball court.
K-Nation story
You're up
idea.
for it? All right,
Yeah.
coming up after the break on K-Nation, Mark Francis in year 25 as the Jayhawks head coach. I asked him about how his job has changed and how it hasn't changed. That's up next.
Jefferson's is the perfect spot to watch the game. Come try our new Loaded Macs, or pull up a seat at the bar and match our cold draft beer with our new Mac Burger. Find us at 29th and Wanamaker in Topeka or online at jeffersons.com.
Come on home to West Loop and Manhattan's West Side.
Buy a car with the highest trade-in values in the Midwest. Visit maxmotors.com.
Rockin' K's, rockin' by the bill.
Mr. K's, home of the cookie bake.
Visit some old friends, discover some new. Come home to West Loop and Manhattan's West Side.
Memories are created every day, and those memories can make a house feel like a home. The children's height changing over the years, the hundreds of backyard barbecues, and much to Mom's dismay, that time Petey unrolled an entire roll of toilet paper. Any agent can help sell a home, but a realtor can do more. Find homes for sale in Northeast Kansas and a Sunflower Association Realtor member that's right for you at sunflowerrealtors.com.
See that kind gentleman over there? He's fixing my windshield. What happened to your windshield? A rock chipped it, and Topeka Auto Glass is repairing the chips so that I don't have to replace the whole windshield.
That had to save you a lot of money.
It did. And they called ahead so I knew when they were coming.
Finally, a company that cares about my time.
Oops.
Jefferson's is the perfect spot to watch the game. Come try our new Loaded Macs, or pull up a seat at the bar and match our cold draft beer with our new Mac Burger. Find us at 29th and Wanamaker in Topeka or online at jeffersons.com.
Welcome back to K-Nation. We know KU football has been through some peaks and valleys in different coaches, but the football team has remained really consistent.
That's right. Jayhawk soccer head coach Mark Francis is in year 25 leading the program. That's 500 games, Laney.
Wow.
I caught up with him earlier in the week to see how he's done it and also how things have changed since his time in Lawrence began. Coach, year 25 here at the University of Kansas. You've been coaching soccer for a long time. I'm curious what your philosophy is, or what are some things that in 25 years you say these are the things that I want my team to be built around, and that's not going to change?
I don't think our style of play has changed in 25 years. In fact, we had a player get inducted into the Hall of Fame a couple of weeks ago. She had been here 9 years, and she came and watched our game, and it was funny. She said, "Coach, team still plays the same way." I don't think our style has changed. We try to possess the ball. We try to play through the lines. I think we've always played that way. We'll always, if I'm the coach here, we'll always play that way. So that would be one thing. And then the other thing I think is just making sure the culture of the group is good, especially when you coach females. If they like each other off the field, you're going to get more out of them on the field. And I think the culture of this group is excellent.
I'll go the exact opposite way on you then. In 25 years, athletes change. You've coached multiple generations. How have you adjusted your coaching style to make sure that that culture that you're talking about is good, but making that culture good might look different than it did a long time ago?
Kids now, I mean, they're just different. Every generation is different, right? I mean, the first groups that I coached when I was here, they didn't have cell phones. That changes a lot of things communication-wise. Kids communicate differently now. They can post something on social media and it literally could get millions of hits. They're used to having a voice, so we have to incorporate that into, you know, getting their opinions on things and making sure that they feel like they're being heard and their opinions are being heard before we make final decisions on stuff. So I think that's important. There's more buy-in, I think, if you can do that with this generation.
We have football goes to a bowl game for the first time in a while. The men's basketball program, I don't think I need to even say what they do. And then the women's basketball wins the NIT. Your program, softball, had a step in the right direction last spring. Is this the best that you've seen Kansas athletics? Is that a stretch?
I mean, 2008 when we won the Orange Bowl, we won the national championship in basketball, and the baseball team went to the College World Series that year. I think it's the only year that those three things have happened at any institution. So the group of coaches we have here, the administration, is fantastic. Everybody's concerned about everybody else. Everybody's checking in on you, especially when you're in season. So that's more like a family. It's like a big family atmosphere. So that's, and you see them in the hallway all the time. You know, we're offices right down the hall from each other, so we see each other every day.
You kind of started to answer my next question. I was going to ask how much do you interact or pick the brain of a guy like Lance Leipold or Bill Self or Coach Schneider, whoever that may be, Coach Fitzgerald, and kind of get to, obviously it's different sports, but get to ask them about the things you're talking about, building culture, recruiting.
Yeah, for sure. You're always, especially in the recruiting space, right? I mean, recruiting's recruiting. Doesn't matter what sport you're in. It's the process is pretty similar, right? So things and ideas that other people have or things that they're doing that maybe we're not doing, that we've got lots of ideas from other sports in the recruiting space. Most of basketball season is during our off season, like we're not in season during that time. So I'll stop in and watch the women and the men's basketball teams train, just to kind of watch things that the coaches do, how they handle the athletes, that kind of thing. So no, picked up a lot of things over the years from the other coaches that we've had here.
Coach, thanks for your time. We got it on year 25. I'll be back and we'll be sure to do it again on year 50.
Sounds good. Thanks,
Coach. Laney, neither you or Ryan have done anything for 25 years straight.
Living, kind of.
Almost.
That's about it.
Coming up this fall.
All right. Well, there is more K-Nation after a quick break. You hear him calling out Wildcat first downs in the Bill, and now you'll hear him in studio breaking down what went wrong in Columbia. That's straight ahead.
2023 Country Stampede was a blast, and now is the time to renew tickets and camping for Country Stampede 2024. Call 785-539-2222. That's 785-539-2222. More Country Stampede announcements coming soon.
Fidelity Bank is celebrating 100 years, empowering customers since 1922.
If you're looking at doing maybe some remodeling to your home, debt consolidation, college tuition, your equity is there. Home equity loan is a great way to let your equity in your home work for you.
Your hometown Fidelity Bank. We do business right here at home.
Your independence is important to you, and it's important to our team. You've been training for this moment all year. It's time to get off the bench.
Come join the McCrite team, for it's your time to shine.
Furnish is a boutique furniture and lifestyle store in the heart of downtown Manhattan. We are your local destination for all of those big city brands. Whether you need furniture, home decor, or a unique gift, we have what you're looking for.
Do you have questions about hearing loss, hearing aids, or tinnitus? New Sound invites you to a free workshop with hearing aid expert Spencer Schmidt and Dr. Gonzalez. No sales pressure, just answers. Call to reserve your spot.
You think knowledge is a powerful weapon? Here, you'll have plenty of ammo. We turn intelligence into tactical success. Explore more than 200 careers at GoArmy.com.
2023 Country Stampede was a blast, and now is the time to renew tickets and camping for Country Stampede 2024. Call 785-539-2222. That's 785-539-2222. More Country Stampede announcements coming soon.
Welcome back to K-Nation. Now, we saw how K-State's game played out. We heard from the team, we've talked about it, and now we have one more point of view to bring in.
Yeah, we got to talk a little bit more about it. Wildcat fans might be tired of hearing about it at this point. We got to break down, though, kind of what went wrong. We got Mitch Fortner here to help us out with all that. Mitch, you made the trip to Columbia yesterday. It was a great football game. Let's start with that.
It was a great game unless you're a fan of K-State, Missouri. It was like a really big grind and in kind of a miserable way because both teams were, making their mistakes, but Mizzou in such heartbreaking fashion for K-State. It was 25 years ago that Martin Gramatica kicked the 65-yarder that set the record for longest field goal in college football history. And then Mevis for Mizzou kicks a 61-yarder and happens to be the longest field goal in SEC history to beat the Cats. It was a heartbreaker, but for college football, it was a great game.
Yeah, that's always fun. K-State did have a season-high 7 penalties yesterday. That obviously contributed to this. What do you just kind of want to see them clean up when we get into Big 12 play?
Well, penalties is certainly one thing, really just communication. I mean, we saw early in that game where Luther Burden got loose for Mizzou, and they just drove right down the field after K-State scored, and there was miscommunication in the backfield. But I think, the offensive line was having some of those penalty issues as well, and just that communication, be more disciplined, and if you shore those things up, I mean, K-State's going to be so much more successful.
And I think Glyman mentioned after the game he saw some panic issues in that secondary on the defense. Some of those guys who didn't play a lot of snaps last year, you get out there against some guys that are that quick and that talented, and a tendency to freak out a little bit. I don't think you can point the side at one, correct me if you think I'm wrong, at defense or offense. The offense had a few drives that could have put it away, and the defense, if they don't give up the explosive play, that they could win that game. Which side, I guess, if one needs more work than the other?
I think the defense has the most consistent part of the game, stopping the run. They have been the best in the nation at stopping the run. It's the offense that needs to find just a little bit more consistency in what it does well. And when it's going, it's an amazing offense. Yeah. But they kind of have to grind a little bit too much at times.
And I think people might want to pump the brakes on freaking out on the defense a little bit. I saw some stuff on the Twitter timeline, and people were like, I'm so concerned about this defense. And I was looking at them like, well, they've allowed 17 points in the third quarter. And obviously they allowed more after that, and I don't know if that was the exact number. People were kind of freaking out, and I was like, they haven't been that bad.
Yeah, there's a bad quarter here and there.
College football fans have a very short memory.
Yeah, definitely. And so thinking about, that final play of the game, that field goal, at what point, thinking back from that, maybe K-State's last drive, but what was it for you that you think could have changed the ending of that game?
I would say maybe a little bit more pressure from the secondary on that final drive. But also, really, if you look back at when K-State ended up having to kick that field goal, you punch it in, and there's a good chance K-State gets out of there with a victory. But I don't want to blame it on the last drive or anything. There was multiple opportunities for the offense to go score and go up 2 scores, 31-20 or something like that. And again, it just give credit to Missouri. They have a really good defense, and I think that was an underrated part of their game coming into last Saturday.
K-State fans won't want to admit it that Mizzou looked good. Mizzou fans won't want to look that K-State is a pretty good team. I think it was 2 good teams going at it. And that delay of game penalty wasn't helpful for K-State in the red zone either.
No, that wasn't. And K-State had, 3 or 4 times it felt like where they had the touchdown, they scored, and then it's called back on a penalty. That happened numerous times. And that was part of the maddening part. K-State, give credit to Will Howard and some of that play calling by Cullen Klein to where it was, second and long, and they go down the field needing 20, 25 yards to score, and they punch it in a couple of plays.
Yeah.
There were some really impressive parts of K-State's game, don't get me wrong.
Absolutely. Mitch, next time we get you in studio, it has to be after a win.
Yeah, definitely.
Please.
Hey, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Go
All
Cats.
Right. Hey, more K-Nation comes your way after the break. Don't go anywhere.
Honey, what are you doing?
What? I just fixed the leaky chimney.
Call Certified Fireplace and Chimney. We fix leaky chimneys properly.
Hi, Clay Sherwood here with Frank and Dean, the CEOs of Cute.
And they want to make sure that you live your best pool life by keeping your pool clear with Pool Life chemicals. Let swims and sweeps keep you cool this summer.
Meaningful relationships built upon trust is a founding principle of the Trust Company. We help individuals and businesses create tailored financial plans and diversified investment strategies that adapt over time to your unique needs. Because we are independent, we can offer flexibility and creativity that many advisors and trust departments can't. If you aren't sure where to start or you're looking to make a fresh start, contact us today for a free consultation.
Sports!
We have everything
that you're looking for
at Play It Again Sports.
New and used sports and fitness equipment with used up to 50% off retail.
You can create your own discount by trading in and trading up. Sell us your gear and get cash on the spot, or even get store credit.
Play It Again Sports has something for every athlete. All seasons, all sports, on any budget. We're open every day in the Fairlawn Plaza Mall.
Game on!
Do you have water damage from storms? Give Certified Fireplace and Chimney a call before the damage gets worse. We'll inspect your chimney inside and out. Then we'll make any necessary repairs. Don't wait until it's too late. Call Certified Fireplace and Chimney today.
Welcome back to K-Nation. Neither K-State or KU looked great yesterday. The good news is they're both favored in week 4.
Here we go. Let's look at some lines. K-State is in at -6.5 as favorites against UCF. KU is -7 favorites over BYU. 2-3-0 teams there at KU and BYU. We'll be hatching it out. That'll be a good one.
Yeah, it could be a couple close games. We're glad they're both at home, of course. The fans, I'm sure, are glad they're both at home. And K-Nation's glad they're both at home.
Yeah, and those close lines make these games very exciting.
Absolutely. Hey, thanks for watching K-Nation. Join us next Sunday and every Sunday.
Have a great night. We'll see you later.
You know, we got to learn from it because these are what Big 12 games are going to be about beginning next week. We're going to be in a lot of one-score games, and we got to find ways to win down the stretch.
At the end, find a way to get a big stop and come away here with the win. And road wins aren't easy.